I still remember distinctly the night of December 31st, 1958. We had a party at home, and a few hours later, after I went to sleep, remember my mother waking me up and said, Batista left Cuba, and we started seeing the movement of people on the streets.
And I can remember right after the revolution, the excitement and the enthusiasm that everyone felt about this new opportunity for Cuba to have a new start. And there was such hope that were pinned on, not just on one person in Fidel Castro, because ultimately it became about him, but it was just the whole feeling was that Batista's gone, things will be better now. But it wasn't too long after that life began to change.
There were the committees for the defense of the revolution. One, the headquarters of one was around the corner from my house. And these folks that I had known since I was a child turned their backs on us. And we were subject to we had to be careful in what we said. Even at our home, my parents were always very concerned that we were being spied on.
The biggest fear my parents and my other parents in Cuba felt was that they would lose their ability to raise their children in their own way, that the children would not belong to them, but would belong to the revolution, would belong to the government, pretty much like they do now.
Castro decided I'm closing all of the Catholic schools. I'm closing all the private schools. You're only going to be able to go to public school. And all of the priests and the religious, whether nuns or priests, any type of religious, were really that worked in the schools were escorted out of Cuba in a ship called Covadonga back in '61.
Our parents made the excruciatingly difficult decision to send us away by ourselves, because at that time in Cuba, all of the private schools had been taken over by the government. And of course, the fear was, and a very well-founded fear, that we were going to be indoctrinated into communist dogma, Marxist dogma at the time. So our parents made the decision to get us out of there and send us away.
Do we tell our friends, or did we tell our friends that we were leaving? The answer is no. You were never allowed to tell anyone that you were leaving. In my class in my classroom and among my friends, even before the brothers left in May of 1961, before the nationalization of schools, you never knew when you would get into a Monday in class and see the empty classrooms or the empty desks, because many of my classmates had left. We just saw them on Friday and they were gone on Monday, and it was secretive. You never told anyone that you had plans to go or to leave.
My parents told me, don't worry, you're coming back in a few weeks because there's no way that the United States will allow communism 90 miles from its shores. So don't worry about it, you'll be back soon. And the fact is that I never went back.
No es fácil enviar tus dos hijos, lo único que tú tienes, lo más grande que tú puedas tener en la vida, y separarte de ellos. Pero era por su bien y ellas lo sabían. Ellas lo sabían.
We got up early, we had breakfast, and our aunts, communist or not, were all crying because we were leaving. And so we had breakfast, and we went downstairs, and my father was on the sidewalk. Only one parent, by the time I left, only one parent would be allowed in the airport, and my father had decided that was, my mother was the one who would have that honor. And so we went downstairs and we saw our father waiting for us in the sidewalk. And I'll never forget, never, ever, as long as I live, forget that moment when we said goodbye to our father, and he had a taxi there waiting for us to go to the airport. Well, first we said goodbye to all our family, and I knew that I would never see them again. I just knew it. And I loved them so much, and I said goodbye to all of them. And then I saw my father, and of course we cried and said goodbye. We got on the taxi, and I kept looking back, and my father kept getting smaller and smaller, and I kept wondering, will I ever see this man that I love so much again?